Hey everybody, how's it going? We're here with a timeless reading. The first cards that we have are Ten of Pentacles and Seven of Wands. Ten of Pentacles is something that you've worked for, that you have, that you want to keep. Seven of Wands is you doing what you're doing in order to protect that. Because I'm seeing this as something that there's joy that's connected with this, but you may be blocking yourself a little bit with something here. So Ten of Pentacles is usually a point where we feel like stable or where we have something that we want. It's like, I worked for this, or even if you didn't work, even if you don't think that you worked for it, it's like something that you have where you're like, I want to keep this thing. I want to keep this thing consistent. I want to keep this thing stable. So some of you are like, I developed this within my life. Some of you, it's just like something that's there that you're like, I want to keep it there, that type of thing. And Seven of Wands is sort of like, I'm prepared to do what I need to do in order to protect that. Like, you see how this is sort of like, it's like a person standing here, and this is like the security here for this, for keeping this, and doing what one feels they need to do in order to protect that. But what I'm seeing is that by this, maybe even, I don't know, there can be something that's being implied here that's associated with feeling the need to be defensive here with this, that could potentially be blocking something that you would feel happy about. Because see how, like, in order to keep this, it's like also sort of blocking out in a way something that may make one happy. So you may feel like you're sort of in this spot where you're like, I have this thing and I want to keep this thing and I'm trying to protect this thing. And this is usually something like more materially based because it's a pentacle, but it can also be like a relationship or something like that. But you can feel that in doing what it is that you need to do to protect this, which may just mean that you don't need to be like so defensive about this. It could be like blocking out a little bit, like something that would actually make you happy, that maybe could like come and be on the other side of this. But you may be tilting at this a bit. But you could also be in a, I mean, that's just like intuitively what I'm seeing here, but you could also be in a spot where you're like, I'm feeling this way because this is something that makes me happy and I want to keep it like that. But it may be like blocking you from more happiness that you could potentially be experiencing if you weren't in this position. Let's clarify and see what's up with this Seven of Wands. There's somebody that you're talking to about something socially, it feels like. This can be like going somewhere or having plans to hang out or like meeting up, that type of thing. Seven of Wands is being clarified by the moon. So this can be feeling defensive towards like the unknown, like what you perceive to be the unknown. So this may not be even like a general thing that you're maybe feeling like protective against. I'm seeing too there's going to be more information when it's time and it's connected with like what you currently have going on, but something that maybe in like the middle of happening. You're in the middle of a process here. Okay. There's going to be a little bit of a directional shift is what I'm seeing. Future happiness. Yeah, there are definitely, like, I'm seeing two very distinct ways to read this. And one of them is that, like, you have something and you're like, I'll do, like, by any means necessary, I'm going to keep this thing within my life because I don't want anything to change with it. And also, it can be something that, like, because of behaving this way now, it may be impacting, like, your future or long term sense of happiness too. So there can be something that you feel like it's impacting you subtly on an emotional level. But this isn't just like normal emotions. 10 of Cups is like the height of emotions, or like the ideal space emotionally and energetically that one wants to be within. And maybe you feel like, because of being so protective over something that you have and wanting it to be like unchangeable, even in a way, that it could be at times like you think that you're protecting yourself even from the unknown, or this 10 of Pentacles from the unknown of like what could possibly happen. But you may be protecting yourself actually from something that would make you happy like in the future. But you would just think that, like, I'm just protecting this thing that I have, but I'm seeing that you're actually, like, potentially blocking yourself from something, but it would be something that's connected with, like, later down the line. So this feels like gaining an awareness maybe of, like, a behavior or, like, an impulse that's happening now that's connected with, like, defensiveness, or, like, not wanting something to move, or not wanting something to transpire, but then being in a spot where you could be like blocking your own future happiness, or like something that would create like more happiness, or more joy within your life, like something that you could connect to more emotionally. But that may not have been something that you realized, because you could have been like, but I'm protecting this thing over here, and not realize that like you also want to like embrace and incorporate this other thing. It feels like maybe the perimeter needs to expand, because you could have like a very small perimeter that you're protecting right now, and you may extend it to also incorporate the 10 of Cups and not just the 10 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles is more like material things that create safety and stability. Also, like family or like housing can be connected with that, or possessions, that type of thing, relationships, stuff that you actively like in earth connect with, like on earth connect with. And it seems like there may be an opening up, meaning like more an extension than anything, because it's not like you're gonna break this like circle of protection that you have, but it's more so extending so you can embrace more of what you want. And it feels like it's more of a like emotional or energetic element that you feel like is connected with maybe like where you're going to, like your future stuff. Because right now you could be like, well, I feel content right now, but if you can embrace this 10 of Cups currently, or be working to look sort of spread out or expand here, it's something that you're going to be happy like later down the line about this. Because it feels like something is going to be calling you. Something is going to be calling you, but it's going to be happening later. And I'm seeing this be an emotional thing. This seems like it's something that's going on within a relationship. Something is changing actually, but you could have been doing stuff to like sort of stop that from happening. But now I'm seeing that something is occurring actually, because we have the 10 of Swords here. However, what this is that's closing out or whatever this is that had happened, Four of Wands comes after it. So it shows that after like this event closes out, it sort of allows room for things to be working better than they had been working before. Because before there had been a lack of, there was like a lack of something before where it didn't allow things to flow properly, and you could have felt like, what is this reminding me of? It's like whenever you imagine just anything where there's like needs to be a flow back and forth. It's like, think about the ocean, how with the waves, it's like they come in and then they recede. But what had been happening is that things energetically may have felt like it was stuck in like one position, and so it starts like, instead of having that natural like back and forth, it was just like moving in one direction, and then something was happening because of that became an issue. But what I'm seeing is that that thing is closing out now, and so now like the back and forth is happening again, but something wasn't happening. There was like some issue with like the direction, or it feels specifically like with the flow of things actually. So you could have felt like something was like not like weighed properly, like one end was like heavier than the other, and there was an issue because of that, like a lack of balance. This was going on within the relationship. I am definitely seeing something that could have felt hurtful. So there was something that happened that is like it already happened. So it's not happening right now, but it feels like it could have left a mark within the relationship, even though it's sort of the like energetic remnants of something, where it's like whatever created the wound of like the knife going in, it's like that part already happened, so that's done, and like things changed because of that. It looks like it is connected within a relationship, and it's like, even though like the knife isn't in anymore, even though that whole thing has happened, like the event is over before, you could feel like you're still left like tending to this, whatever it was that it did, whatever the effect was of that, whatever the energetic impact was of that. Some of you also a psychological impact of that. So that, it seems like that's what's being addressed and dealt with now. That's what's being worked with now. This is definitely a past thing. I'm not seeing this be a current thing, but it may be something that you're currently dealing with because of this. Like, we still need to address that thing, even though the event is no longer happening anymore. So I'm seeing that be very clear. Like, this is something from the past, but it's something that's still being dealt with within the relationship. Some of you, there may have been like an involvement of other people too, because I'm seeing Three of Swords and Three of Cups, and like immediately what comes to mind when I see that is that there could have been like a relationship, and then like other people being involved in that relationship, and there being like pain that was associated with that, like other people being involved in some way, like third party type of things. But it doesn't, like a third party doesn't also like have to be a person too. It can be about other things as well. But it's sort of like, I'm seeing more than just two people being involved in a situation. That's primarily, you see two people. And that can also be like something socially that happened too. Like, I don't know, the nature of this can be different for each of you. It's like pain that's associated with relationships with other people in some way, or something socially that happened, or like a social event that happened, that type of thing. Or somebody that someone was hanging out with, like that's still being held on to. Okay. So some of you, I wonder if like are you the one holding on to it? Are you dealing with somebody else that's holding on to it? Which one are you within this? Something is not being let go of still. And someone may be acting out because of this too, is what I'm seeing. You have to make the decision whether or not you want to like move forward with this, because I'm seeing this as a workable situation. But if you're not willing to let go of this, it's not going to be a workable situation. So you have to figure out with yourself what you want to do here. I'm seeing you still feel a type of way about something. You can feel like your feelings about this are really strong. You can also feel like there is no judgment and there's nothing wrong with this. You can feel like your emotions about this are kind of, is the word superfluous coming through? You can feel like your emotions about this are like a bit on the more like heightened end, which again, there's nothing wrong with that, but you can feel at this point where you're like, I know that I'm being kind of dramatic about it. You can feel this way, but you're still holding on to it anyway. So it's like, I know that I'm making a bit of a show about this, but I'm still holding on to it. Maybe you just have some really intense emotions about this and you don't really feel like you're ready to let them go yet, is what I'm seeing. Or if you're the other person, that can be the same thing. But for some of you guys, you're mirroring the person that you're with, so you guys may both be feeling like this. Like it can sort of be a dance off emotionally. Feels like a bit of a show, something that's going on here. So you may even be holding on to something and be like in a tug of war now with this other person and be like, well, who's gonna win this dance off here? It's like, it feels like it's becoming a bit of a competition maybe at this point, you can feel. There was definitely a reaction to something. I'm seeing that be part of this too. So you had something that you felt was stable and you were like protecting it with all your might, but then I'm seeing it be like, I'm hearing for some of you behind closed doors, something may have happened, but what I'm also seeing too is that, so you have this thing where you're like, I'm protecting this thing. And so you're over here doing that, but like your gaze is here. And the way that this card is coming out, it's like it actually came from the inside, something that happened. This is what I'm seeing. And you could have thought that it was something that was going to come from the outside. And you could have also been doing something where you were like, because I'm protecting this, I also may not be doing something that would make me happy potentially in the future. So you could have felt like there was a bit of a sacrifice even that you were making. It feels like, but you were like, this is just what I have to do for now. Like maybe you were prioritizing something practically, but maybe not prioritizing something emotionally. And you felt like this was a deliberate choice to be doing this because you felt like you needed to do this in order to protect what it is that you had, you felt. But what I was seeing is that with the Seven of Pentacles, or with the Seven of Wands here, having the moon come out on the bottom of the deck, this can mean that like there's something unknown going on, or like you could have even been feeling a type of way about something, not understanding why you were feeling a type of way about something because something had still been in the dark or it wasn't revealed yet. And what I'm seeing is that this is very like something coming from inside of the house. This is what I'm seeing here happened. So it's like, meanwhile, you're over here trying to protect this, but then from like inside, I'm seeing something had happened. But this is something that already happened. This isn't something currently going on. This is something that happened and something that felt painful. And I'm seeing it's creating, I'm hearing division and also defensiveness, but within the relationship. Because somebody feels like, this ruined my happiness. It's like that sort of thing. It's like, we were happy. I was feeling like this. Or like even though I don't even think that this was the case. Because it feels like it wasn't actually feeling like the Ten of Cups. Like it wasn't actually feeling like the ultimate sense of happiness. But now after this thing happening, you could have felt like it was. That can be your feeling anyway. And you can be feeling multiple things where you're like, maybe without this event, like I wasn't feeling super happy. But now that this happened, maybe I was happy and you took that away from me. It's like one of those types of situations where you could be like feeling all over the place emotionally. Because it feels too like, with some of the stuff energetically, I'm seeing there be cognitively like a little bit of a lack of congruence here. But I think it's only because you may not be at the source of understanding this fully yet, like the pain of this and what actually it was impacting. It's like there are more implications that still haven't been like completely resolved. But it could have felt like whatever it was that was going on here, something then came through and like slashed that in a way. And you could still be feeling that. Like it can be, I'm still feeling the pain of that. It's like when you're smiling and really happy about something, and then somebody does something or something happens and it feels like it gets like slapped off of your face. You know that feeling when you like feel happy and then all of a sudden something happens and you feel like upset or like you're frowning or like your sunshine got stolen. It's like that type of thing. It does feel though that you're like progressing through the situation though. And it's like a very specific situation that you're moving through. But it feels like you're getting to a point where maybe there's some like understanding that's happening. And although I am seeing that like you're making progress, and it does seem to like in the future this is actually going to be like rectified and reconciled. Right now there could be some stuff that you're still holding on to emotionally where it's still that sort of like tug of war feeling, but it seems that your guides are like things are going to be working out and things are going to be coming together where there's a sense of mutual understanding. But right now what's being suggested, right? Like we're talking about you need to do this. You don't need to do anything. This is just what is being suggested as far as you energetically moving through this process. We're talking solutions here, or even like practical steps to take. Addressing what's going on emotionally, your emotions towards this situation and what you're still holding on to, and maybe feeling like you're still being a little bit extra about something here emotionally, which there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we need to be dramatic and really like act something out and like get all of it out. Like maybe you need to more fully express something so you can let go of it. Or maybe you're at a point where you're like, okay, like I need to tone it down a little bit. Because I'm not really going anywhere now and it's just keeping me stuck to stay in this like very like acting out sort of place. Some of you also, which like no shame in the game at all, some of you also are like sort of enjoying being able to like maybe be a little bit dramatic about this. Like even though I'm seeing there be pain involved in this situation, so it's like, what do you mean I'm enjoying it? I'm seeing like a little bit of the drama, like it being like a little bit spicy and maybe enjoying like the attention that it brings to you of being like, oh, like this thing is happening, you know, like that sort of thing. And it can be like, I'm holding on to this and like, I don't want to hold on to these feelings because it doesn't feel good. And then also be like, but I also kind of like the attention that I'm getting from it because like I'm really in my feelings. So maybe you also just need more time to play this out. But I'm seeing your guides be like, if you're feeling stuck, it's because you're still playing this out. So know that it's your choice whether or not you release this. Because at this point, some of you are like, yeah, I think that this has like sort of run its course. And even though I know that I could continue doing this, I'm seeing that by me continuing to do this, that I'm starting to feel the energy is getting stuck now. And you may want to release this so you can move forward. But some of you still feel a type of way about this. So that's something that's being worked on as well. It feels like this is attachment related. And some of you too, there may be something that's going on where, I don't know how exactly this is being addressed, but you could feel like the way that you get stuck mentally sometimes is becoming a bit problematic. And so you may start addressing that somehow or becoming more aware of that, or maybe finding coping strategies that you feel are more effective than what you've been using in order to help you be more present. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.